Welcome. We're talking about that new moon coming up on the 22nd/23rd of August. It is going to ask us to choose what we are actually invested in, what's worth our time, what's worth our energy. This is a lunation in the sign of Virgo, and it asks who and what do you serve, and is it worth it? And once you know where your authentic self lies and what it is you're really wanting to express creatively and energetically in this world, the sign of Virgo takes us to that next step. What are those routines? What are those habits? What are those ways of doing your daily life that support that expression of the authentic you in this world? So it's an exciting lunation at 0 degrees of Virgo on that 22nd and 23rd of August. And it's exciting because 0 degrees is a pure degree. It's a first beginning baby step degree. It's full of innocence and wonder. It's a lucky degree. It's a little bit like beginner's mind. We can potentize 0 degrees and use it in a kind of a way. It reminds me the first time I ever hit a golf club and I was in a driving range and people asked me if I'd been studying golf all my life because I was driving that ball. I go, no, it's just beginner's luck and beginner's mind. And I could never really replicate that again. So when you think about how this moon coming up at 0 Virgo sets you in a mindset of a child, an innocence, and a kind of I can do it, why not energy. Because, beginner's mind is because you don't worry about being a failure. You're just kind of like, hey, I'll give that a try and see what happens. So I'm excited to talk to you about this moon today from the light of the 0 degree angle. This moon is conjunct an asteroid called Sila Nunam, and it is an an Eskimo or Inuit traditional god of heaven and earth. It's the mother goddess energy, and that makes a lot of sense given Virgo is about the earth. It's kind of cool that this asteroid is tracking with this lunation, but also the sky god, right? The electrical thunderbolts and storms. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of world astrology, maybe about 10 minutes for those of you who like world astrology, because when I think about a sky god and an earth mother, and I think about the combination, I think about extreme climate or seismic or volcanic events. I'm just saying that this moon could indicate that on the global scale. The moon is ruled by Mercury. All moons are ruled, if a Virgo moon, by the sign Virgo, which is Mercury's home sign, and even his exaltation sign. And Mercury's tracking with the asteroid Fortuna. So there's a sense of Mercury in Leo direct, where the fates and fortunes are spinning the wheel of fortune. That brings me into a sense of this moon is going to put you in touch with your destiny, where the fates and the fortunes wish to direct you. So it has a kind of vibration along those lines. And when you add that this moon is sitting with a south node of fate and destiny, the moon will ask you what you need to let go of in a destined, fated way in order to express that creative impulse of your authentic nature in this life. Why are you here? What are your natural gifts and talents? Are a few ways to understand the Leo sign behind the Virgo sign. Moving ahead into Virgo, the question is, how do you bring that into form and how you make it real and tangible? It's an earth sign. It's like a pentacle in the tarot, but you do it with the Virgo purity, with the Virgo clarity of decision making. Virgos are mutable. They can change their mind back and forth, just like a Gemini. But the point about Virgo is they're asking the deep question before and when they choose. They're asking, like, is this thing that I want to do essential to my well-being? Is this direction I want to go going to be my long-term practice? Like, can I continue with this? Will it sustain itself? And that quality of discernment that Virgos are capable of bringing to the table, like if you ever know a Virgo, right? If they change their mind, it's because they've gone inward and they've discerned this is not going to sustain me. It is not sustainable. It is not good for my my well-being. And another way to say Virgos will ask you, because it's a sign of service, right? Who and what can I serve? In a kind of priestess way, the Virgos will say something like, does this work? Is it essential? Is it of service? Like, they're very practical about this stuff. So as you lean into this lunation, it's going to ask you to do that. Now, welcome to my channel. If you're new, before we get to your sign, my name is Lori Lothian, and I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses. Of course, the fixed stars and minor asteroids are always in my journey of talking astrology with you. That's why we have Fortuna in the story today, as well as Sila Nunam. We also have the star Regulus, by the way, sitting at 0 degrees of Virgo back in 2012-ish. The star moved from 29 degrees of Leo. That's where Donald Trump's ascendant is, a star of fame, power, and wealth, little king. It means little king, Regulus in Latin. And this little king throne has moved now to 0 Virgo due to the precession of the equinoxes and the wobble of the earth. And so Zero Virgo, where this is happening, is on that very powerful, potent Persian royal star. This is extremely powerful energy, guys. I mean, this star is a game-changing light in our heavens. And for each of us, we're tapping into our own authentic sovereignty. Where are we on our king-like throne as we choose wisely with discernment what it is that will be essential to our well-being, physical, mental, and emotional, and how we can make it a longer-term habit or practice. So there's a lot of house cleaning with Virgo as well. This star is connected to one of the archangels. It's Raphael. So Raphael is in the Lover's Tarot card. He's the angel presiding over like Adam and Eve type character. So there's that Garden of Eden, that innocence, the angelic energy is there as well. Raphael is an angel of healing as well. So there's a lot going on about healing the world and healing yourself. I just love the way this all blends together. Now, in the Archetypal Universe by Ren Butler, he has a lot to say about the energies of planetary archetypes combining forces. And what he talks about in his book, in a way, is he talks about youthful genius. And that's also the 0 degree. The moon is about child, youth, children. And, Uranus is and it's sextiling Uranus. I forgot to tell you. And it's sextiling Uranus at 0 degree, 1 degree of Gemini. So we get a youthful genius and a sort of an ecstatic, exuberant energy with this moon. And there's a great quote he has here by Emily Dickinson, who was born with her moon square Uranus in her natal chart. The soul should always stand ajar, ready to welcome the ecstatic experience. Oh, I like that. When we put the moon and the sun together with Uranus, because the moon is new, it's with the sun at 0 Virgo, and it is in that relationship. I said square. Did I say sextile? Squaring Uranus, a lot of intensity there, which is why I think some extreme weather events are coming. He will define this as a bright and shining vitality, creative freedom and originality, natural spontaneity and aliveness, and a radiant enthusiasm for life. Well, I'm wearing white because it's pure. It's Virgo. I'm trying to be Virgo today. I've got my hair up like a nun or something. So think also about what it is you want to refine and purify. It could be your health. It could be your daily routines. It could be your workspace. I mean, it could be anything. But there's a quality about what to purify, refine, maybe simplify when we look at Virgo energy. There's one more thing I want to say about the sky is that Mercury rules both the Gemini story and the Virgo story, and he's in Leo. And in that way, he's the maestro of the story. There's a symphony of a sky story to do with a fresh start and a new moon in Virgo, and Mercury owns that moon, and he owns what Uranus is up to in Gemini. And from his position in Leo, he can really easily witness this. He's in a sextile energetically, and it's easy for him to manage the sky god, more so than the moon, who's in an inversion or a semi-sextile. So I think we're going to see Mercury kind of trying to give directions to the sky god Uranus. And ironically, of course, the sky god and the earth god is Sila, Nunam, the asteroid sitting on top of the actual moon at 0 degrees. Exactly. You can't make this stuff up. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. And did you know that I teach astrology? I always forget to mention this. My class starts on September 27th. That's the final date, unless something else goes awry. Moving, traveling. I got COVID. I had to delay things. So the class is now beginning the last weekend on a Saturday, September 27th, 2025. 6 weeks with me. Learn to time your best life, be your own astrologer, and sky read your natal sky, and use some easy, simple divine timing tools from ancient astrology, not modern astrology, so that you can make your life easier, go with the flow, get some kind of cognitive angles on the sky, know what's coming up next in your life, be able to look ahead and predict or analyze future trends and past trends. In my class, I teach you how to look back at the past in ways that you can make sense of things that have already happened to you as well. So join me on Skyreader. I'd love to see you there. Enrollment cart will be opening shortly. I'm recording on August the 12th. I hope to get that cart open really soon. And there's an early bird discount wait list. Check the description box below. If you get on that wait list, you'll get a discount code. If you're not on the wait list, you won't get the discount code for the enrollment. So there you go. Okay, guys. The Sabian symbol at 0 degrees of Virgo is a man's head. Keywords are responsibility, integrity, morality, principles, consciousness, leadership, and identity. To me, this is not good for world leadership stories. Let's take a look at that chart together. technically speaking, I think that we may see a calamity with a world leader as well as an extreme climate event. Don't forget that this moon is coming off of or going into the eclipse season of September, and we will have a 29-degree Virgo eclipse as a solar eclipse, which means it's a new moon at 29 Virgo on the 21st of September. In a way, this could be a kind of like not a flashpoint, but we call it this new moon at 0 could be a kind of bookend opening to things that are going to be more deeply clear for all of us on the eclipse itself on the 29th. And the eclipse, you're feeling that eclipse already. I'm putting my eclipse videos out in a week or so. That eclipse is already backwashing over us. We're already in the energies of the eclipse of 21st of September, solar eclipse at the energetic intense 29th degree of Virgo. Again, putting us in a sort of flavor for intensity around Virgoian themes, health, earth, weather. What I also noticed here, and you'll see what I'm going to show you, is there is a finger of God. And the finger of God is a kind of a arrowhead here. And it's about destined and fated missions that we're all here to collectively and individually acquire, do, or create. But it requires sacrifice. Finger of Gods have a lot of 6th house service energy and 8th house death and rebirth energy embedded into the architecture of the finger of God. And the work of the evolutionary astrologer Stephen Forrest points to the need for a kind of service and sacrifice to a finger of God, as well as the invitation for depth of rebirth involved in it. A lot of people, such as me, born with one of these, we find it really hard to get a handle on it. Life circumstances bring it alive when transits hit the tip or the midpoint of the yod, and we find ourselves living the story. Otherwise, it kind of sits in the back room, dormant and collecting dust. Well, for the world, this baby ain't collecting dust. Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius, Neptune and Saturn holding the sextile in the finger of God. So there's a lot of transpersonal, evolutionary, greater forces than the individual life at work in this finger of God, and pointing right here to the new moon, right here at 0 degrees of Virgo. And it's 0 degrees and 22 minutes of Virgo. In my mind, 22 minutes of Virgo is going to be about the Fool, the tarot card, the Fool. And that is also sometimes called the 0 card in the tarot. So there again is I take a leap of faith, go with innocence and wonder, leap and the net will appear, find the inner child, the beginner's mind. That's also the Fool, who is spirit playing in matter. So there's something about this that invites us all to recover innocence. Remember that one of the popes of the Middle Ages said, in all of our, Pope Francis, somebody, in all of Pope Alexander, maybe, anyway, in all of our focus on original sin, let us not forget original innocence, right? In all of our focus on original sin, let us not forget original innocence. And there's that original innocence that is in the 0 degrees of Virgo. And when I look at world events, knowing that it's on Regulus, which means king or throne or little king, right? And Donald Trump's ascendant is within a degree of this lunation, even though it's in Leo when he was born, not Virgo. There is a lot of Donald Trump's story that I think will get activated by this particular moon, more so even than the eclipse that's coming up on September 21st. The South Node is traveling with this particular storyline, Aphidas. This is a centaur who got ragingly intoxicated and went on an R-A P spree, okay? A lot of misconduct, right? A lot of sexual misconduct in that story. And I'm not going to say those words because it's an algorithmic sinker here. So you know what I mean? So there's kind of like, think about Epstein Island already being of that sordid, seedy vibe. And all of this Epstein file cover up or non-disclosure, or whatever's really going on, really makes me feel like we're going to see more of that. Really do. More of that coming out because we have a whistleblower asteroid sitting here with Mercury, and the whistleblower is Askalaphus. So with a whistleblower, Askalaphus, with the whistleblower Askalaphus, with Mercury, the news guy, the speaker, the information guy, and Fortuna, the fortunes of fate, we may see a big whistleblower and shock and awe story emerging. It may involve world leaders. Now, Virgo is a place where other people have significant placements, right? We want to look at that. It does, as Virgo represent, in general, the executive branch of the United States government. Virgo is the 10th house of the United States Sibley chart. It does represent the midheaven placement for Benjamin Netanyahu. And he basically just went through an eclipse in March on his midheaven with the South Node. Virgo rules your intestines, guys. So this is where it becomes also about purity of what we ingest at this time. And he ended up in the hospital for food poisoning for 3 days, just on the wake of the aftermath, not only of the eclipse, but activations of his midheaven at that time with Mars and the South Node, when he spent 3 days last month in the hospital. Maybe really truly for food poisoning, or maybe some other reason not being disclosed to the public. If you have a shadow quality to Virgo in general, because I'm giving you all the positivity, it's kind of being narrow-minded or Puritan, like, holier than thou, a kind of Puritan way of being in the world. Maybe sometimes hypochondria can show up with this, but that, collectively, hypochondria is not likely to happen. So individually, we may experience that. And, there's a quality here, because you're discerning how to express the newfound Leo impulse of, here's my authentic self. I creatively express it in this world with a bold, leaderful energy. The next sign that follows, of course, being Virgo, we're talking about how to express it in habits, routines, in disciplined structures that are a practice of some kind, like a servitude, a practice, a holy duty of some sort. And so you'll ask yourself questions like, does this plan I have work? Can I be of service using it? Is it really critical or important or essential? These are the things that we'll ask individually in our lives on the moon, connected to the Virgo part of your chart. Finally, the last thing about the world stories, because I really don't want to belabor this. Back in the day, there was certain events going on in the sky in 1988 when Saturn and Uranus, these two planets here, Saturn and Uranus, were actually co-joined. And that was the fall of the Berlin Wall, 88, 89, all of that stuff was happening in the aftermath of the seed planting, or the beginning of this synodic cycle. And you'll see that as Uranus is going to turn retrograde in September and move backwards, we're going to see that these, and next year it's more exact, I believe in July, we're going to see a lot of change of structures in the world that have to do with things that we thought were never going to change. Like Soviet Union was always going to be the Soviet Union. The Cold War would always prevail. There were massive geopolitical shifts going on in the world in 88, 89. And this sextile this year and next year is getting quite a lot of juice to our sky. And a lot of the time we'll see similar stories happen. We always thought the multipolar world versus the unipolar moral sheriff hegemony of the United States, that is already dissolving. But things like the petrodollar, or the dominance of the US dollar, or the particular way states line up, and formations like the BRICS nations, that's Pluto and Aquarius, or our world geopolitical, economic, and even landlines, the way the lines are drawn on the map, are changing, right? We will see new geopolitical territories forming and old ones falling away. So get ready for that. And I just wrote in my Substack Pluto Chronicles about that in my Venus Jupiter conjunction on the dog star that we're conjoining on the dog star Sirius right here on the day I'm recording this, April the 12th. That conjunction correlates to 1942 and 1919. 1919 was a signing of the Treaty of Versailles. And it also was the beginning of the carving up of the world into different new geopolitical land masses, right? New countries were formed after World War I. In World War II, in 1942-43, when this energy was very active, it went through all of 42 and all of 43. But in the dog star, there was also the beginning of the planning and plotting for the United Nations, and China, Russia, England, and the United States coming together at this conference of Tehran and stuff, figuring out how to draw world boundary lines up again after the war. And in a way, because now the Allies were starting to win, in a way, we're going to see that same thing happen, like almost post-war drawing of boundaries and new geopolitical territory. Of course, Ukraine, Russia. Yeah, that's not going to be Ukraine gets to keep all of its land. It just can't. It's not that story. We may also see, of course, the situation in the Middle East looking like some new land boundaries are drawn up as well. If I had to guess, if the world was to step in and do an intervention there, which is long overdue, then it would look like saving the West Bank. You can't save Gaza. It has been pulverized. But the West Bank, also Judea and Samaria, according to the Messianic Zionist Knesset types like Schmotrich and all that, is literally still livable. The land hasn't been decimated into rubble, and maybe there will be a geopolitical move to try to migrate the 2 million Palestinians to the West Bank. And that would take a lot of brute force by the world, because Israel has a belligerent Mars transit right now with Libra. Mars is in Libra. That's the same transit that is how they responded to the October 7th attack 2 years ago. And it's back again. And it has a lot to do with the South Node and the eclipse in 2023. Yes, it does. But now it's just Mars. Mars is back again, first time since the Hamas attack into Israel. And it literally is going to inflame the energy of the nation's leaders, basically, into more of that, aggressive but unbalanced Mars and Libra energy. Mars and Libra is like the teeter-totter guy, and he can't get his balance. And he's like, okay, here I am. I'm in the sign of peace. We want to balance those scales of harmony and justice and commerce. And I'm not really good at this. I tend to get my sword and my saber out and I go to war. What am I doing here? I used to joke that Mars and Libra was the warrior in the UN peacekeeping tent going, I don't get it. Let's just kill. And that's what's going on for Israel. Let's just kill. Mars is Kill Bill, he's really in there and he's really going for it. And there's no way until Mars leaves after a 6-week transit through Libra. Brain won't tell me. I think it's early October. Yes. No, it's not. Mars leaves Libra around the 23rd or something of September, that we'll get any kind of cooperation, or the world will, from Israel, if it even is possible. All right, so we're going to do your sign. That was my world astrology. I'm going to do a little card draw from Carolyn Miss, as well as the astrology, the archetype cards. I do like mixing it up. I'm getting great feedback from me mixing this up together, and I hope you are enjoying those kinds of videos. If you didn't watch my video about Venus and Jupiter on the dog star that came out Monday, August the 11th, go back and watch it, because I do really think that's an important transit. And there's a longer other separate video as well that I put out about 2 or 3 weeks ago that talks more about the 2-year structure in your sky. Because what happens this week that I'm recording, August the 12th, as these planets come together, is not about the day or the week only. It is a lucky week. It is the luckiest week of the year. It's more than that. It's about the next 10 months until next June, when Venus comes together again with Jupiter in Cancer, not on the dog star next summer, and then sets in motion until August of 27, another cycle of this union. A lot of you know that the occultists, the Masons who founded the United States, the founding fathers were occultists. They were Masons. They chose July 4th, the day the sun was on the dog star, in order to create that energy of the United States of America. They chose an exalted Jupiter in Cancer to bonify and keep that star from causing harm. For Sirius, the scorching one, has also been known as a star that can cause pestilence and plagues and fevers, as well as luck and power and fame. So with Jupiter there in the United States Sibley chart, it protects the story. And that's what we're under now. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. And just like 1919, just like 1942 to 43, stories are playing out with the dog star and Jupiter and Venus that played out then. So we're under a very interesting and I think very benefic sky. I think it's more positive than not. We're going to start with Aries. I'm going to talk about how this moon is innocent. It asks you to ask yourself questions that are really important, like you'll choose when you're ready. It is a decision energy sometimes with Virgo stuff like this, but innocence, beginner's mind, leaping and trusting the universe will catch you over that cliff. The Fool energy, being discerning about, is this essential? Does it fortify my well-being psychologically, emotionally, and mentally? Can I devote myself to this and dedicate myself to this in a sustained way? Can I make this a practice? Whatever the Virgo story is, like if it was your marriage house, and we'll get to that for Pisces, you're going to ask, can I dedicate myself to this marriage? Is this marriage sustainable? Does it work? Is it essential? These are things that Pisces may be asking. So we're going to go ahead and do your sign. Let's get started. I'm in my new apartment. Finally, you guys usually see me on the sofa, but I finally got my desk ordered and it's here. A lot of my recordings will now be up against my desk instead of my sofa, but we'll see. Maybe I'll move it up and around, and let's get started with Aries. So let's start off with Aries. I'm one of you. I have my sun and moon. If you're listening for your sun sign, it's about your essential nature, your core self, but often connects to purpose and career. I kind of the reason for being incarnated. So we pretend the sun is in the first house. To do that, when we listen to our sun, moon, and rising, moon is your home, your feelings, your mind, and thinking and feeling about life. but also your home and your nest. And when you're listening for your rising sign, folks, you're listening for your character in the simulation. This is a game of life. It's a Lila. It's a play of life. It's like a movie. All right. Your sun is your actor, but your character that you're playing is the rising sign. All right. So let's get going. Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign. Yes. The finger of God with this new moon, and the moon is actually over here at 0 degrees of Virgo, but I can't progress the chart, right? So just trust me on that. It starts on August 22nd to 23rd, time zone dependent. Don't worry about the time. It's not that important. The point is that, in Pacific time, I live in like Los Angeles time zone. It's going to happen before midnight on the 22nd, and it's going to happen after midnight in Washington, D.C. So, there's the vibe. So here we go. Aries, sun, moon, and rising, new moon, new beginning in this house of health. Virgo is about purity. Virgo is about that energy that you want to sustain a habit, a routine, a practice of devotion to your physical health and body wellness, including probably emotional, mental, but it is the house of sickness. So purifying in order to be well with a 0 degree energy is like, I want to be pure and clear and clean and dedicated, but I also want to have a kind of wonder and fresh innocence about it. It is not something you're going to want to do because it feels difficult, because you got the 0 degree excitement here, and it's a lucky degree as well. So health challenges can be fortified with sort of a new beginning, but also some lucky breaks. I wonder if there's any chance that Uranus in the 3rd house will have you joining a gym or a local neighborhood establishment, because that's what the 3rd house is. And there's an element of unexpected or surprise here. Like, oh my God, I just found like this perfect little, workout studio down the street. I'm going to open up my door. It is way too hot in here. I got to get cross breeze. Hang on. I'm just going to open the door. Yeah, it's literally a great cross breeze, but we have a hornet's like wasp nest issue near this building right now, but I'll deal with them buzzing around my head just to be cool. So hang on, get a sneeze, purify. Your work is here. Your work routines are here. Hallelujah, I got my desk. I had no desk for like 6 weeks here, and I was working on the sofa and the bar stools back there, really uncomfortable to do it that way. And so now, finding that sort of sacred space to do the work, whether you're employed or not, I don't care. Make your cubicle perfectly perfect for you. Get what you need, maybe an air purifier, some flowers, organize your desk. For me, that's this desk that arrived a few days ago. You heard the guy constructing it during my video, and it is where I can make a sacred space for work. So I want you to consider sacred workspace as a concept. Can you make it a sanctuary for the work? Can you put a kind of dedicational energy? Do you want to burn sage before you start working wherever you work? Do you want to, maybe do a little feng shui in your workspace and put some feng shui energy into it so that it's really devotional, sacred? It's the temple of your work, because as a Virgo energy for Aries, your work is of service. You don't work because you have to. You're being of service. You want to be of service. That's your archetype of the 6th house. Pets belong to the 6th house. This is going to be purifying and cleansing for your pet, but also maybe those of you who don't have a pet, the moon rules your 4th house of home, and I think you're going to get a pet from this. A pet is possible, and it's 0 degrees, so it's like probably small. That's probably a chihuahua, but it's like, yay me, it's exciting. I've got a new pet. I'm so excited. And this new moon will take up to 6 months to fulfill. All new moons have a 6-month rollout, but pet stories are possible as well. And this new moon is complicated because of the eclipse. So I'd say between now and the end of September, the idea of getting a pet could be very, very much on your radar and may become a true possibility. Finally, if you have addictions and self-undoing, the North Node, South Node axis is activating, like how to let go and release and surrender and purify any kind of habit, mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical abuse of self, addictions, bad habits, Haagen-Dazs, wine. I'm the wine girl. So, a strong call to release, surrender, and let go, like let go, let God, very like AA, surrender to a higher power. Anything that you do that really doesn't serve your physical wellness, this is a call for that. If you're talking about the work story, I love the Uranus is in the 3rd house of marketing, teaching, selling, and communicating. Surprising, exciting, and shocking developments may emerge, especially if you're entrepreneurial, where Mercury is with Lady Luck. Lady Luck is sitting beside him. So you might have some exciting and powerful breakthroughs and creative and entrepreneurial projects that also are connected to work. Uranus rules going viral on the internet. Something you create could have a viral punch and do really well, but also writing projects and breakthroughs and insights and all of that. But again, you keep asking the same discerning question. Is it essential? Are you choosing because it's of service? Can you sustain this as a practice? If you can't, you'll let go of things. You'll let go of work and health things that you cannot sustain, right? You know it must be dedicated and sustainable energetically. All right, so I'm going to draw a card for you. Don't forget, you're dealing with this whole Neptune and Saturn conjunction energy that is intense and powerful, and you are becoming very much united with this energy. It is a story that you're learning to lean into, to make your dreams real, to be mystical, oceanic, compassionate, and surrendered, while you are also creating new life forms and structures that will go the distance. What kind of distance? The next 30 years. Okay, so I drew a card. I just drew it now when I was chatting away. Like, yeah, why do I never get my nails done is because they never stay done. The Destroyer, light attributes, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for a new light, new life. And on the dark side, intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Okay, so I think most Aries don't do that here, but I love there's a volcano here. So a volcanic eruption is in the air. And, to release what is potentially destructive, to prepare for a new life is very much what that 0-degree Virgo part of the sky can be. Can you release something that is ultimately destructive? Can it be a habit, an addiction? Are you working too hard? Are you a workaholic? And you're going to laugh at this. People don't think of Aries as that. They think, oh, Aries start things and don't finish them. But with that Virgo 6th house, they are dedicated. When they work, they are perfectionistic, dedicated, and they just keep on going. You will have a hidden perfectionist and workaholic in every Aries, especially rising. So where you are needing to release something that is self-destructive and it's time to let it go, this moon will give you that fresh start. For me, I'm going to do a cleanse. I'm going to stop drinking any wine or alcohol starting on this moon, and I'm going to stick with it for 40 days. So if anybody out there wants to join me on such an endeavor, maybe I'll create a little Astro Club for a detoxification. All right, so that's what I got for us. Let's go on to the next sign. I hope that was useful for you. Our next sign is going to be our beautiful Taurus folk. Now, you guys, we're going to start off. Oops, I can't see the chart. Did I lose it? No, it's still there. I'm going to start off talking to you about the new moon as a part of a finger of God. I didn't really bring that up as the focal point for the Aries, but it'll come and go. I'll be feel called to talk about finger of God energy. To make it simple, I'm going to get rid of the Neptune, and these guys are just making it look cluttered. So I'm going to take it out. I really want to keep a simple look going here. See, there you go. I'm looking at my Virgo tendency to simplify. It just will be less cluttered. Okay. So we have a new moon, new beginning, fresh start. Why am I on August 25th? Sorry about that. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. I am not getting my software to function. I apologize. It's literally, I changed it to hours and it still went back to days. Let's try again. Mercury is just stationed direct. So he's still, what do you call it? He's still drunk on his retrograde. He doesn't really know he's supposed to be working for me today. Okay, we're going into like Lori's panic attack. Okay. So, and I wanted to delete and get rid of a planet that stuck around. Goodbye, Saturn. Thank you. So let's talk about this Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Let's get going. You can see that there's going to be a new moon. Forget that the moon is in Leo, right? I'd have to move to the 23rd to show that, because this is really going to turn new on the, late in the night on the 22nd for some places. So new moon in the sign of, you know what? Someone will give me grief. I hear it I hear it like, why is this chart not showing a new moon? There's a new moon. It's going to happen at 1 degree of Virgo on 22nd, 23rd of August in your fifth house of children, romantic love, things to do with your natural talents and gifts, your creative projects, things that you do that inspire you, bring you fun, play, pleasure, and enthusiasm. The 0 degree is full of innocence, wonder, luck, and all kinds of good stuff. It has an archetype of the Holy Fool in the Tarot, and it allows for you to jump in with a beginner's mind to the following possibilities. You may jump into a new romance. This could incite in the months that follow, or if not the 2 to 3 weeks that follow, a fresh start in romantic love. If a new love story starts under this energy, wow, it's got the South Node, which says past lives, maybe destined, fated, soulmate contact. So new love stories may emerge on this lunation. The other energy here would be about your children. You may find yourself seeing your children having some lucky fresh starts and new beginnings that you're proud of, and it feels destined and fated. With a new beginning and the South Node, you may have to let go of your children. Maybe it's time for them to move out of the nest. Maybe you're going to divest your energy away from the existing children. That's okay. It's time to do that. A new moon in the fifth house will also be very much about those creative and artistic projects that you're involved in, painting, acting, writing, communicating, whatever they may be. You may have to release and let go of some of those projects. The South Node is here, or entrepreneurial business endeavors, to surrender and release and let go so that you can start something new and fresh, so that you can be dedicated to serving some new creative, artistic, or entrepreneurial impulse. You must let go of the old for the new to come. Now, one thing about the fifth house, it's a fortunate house. It's the house of good fortune. And so a 0 degrees is a lucky degree. Sometimes people win money through speculation and gambling here. So it could be a good time to take a small gamble on a risk of some sort, like a lottery ticket, but don't overdo it. It takes one ticket to win. And that's all you need is a 0 degree lucky break. So yes, if you are a Taurus, go ahead and win a lottery ticket, even if it's only a small amount. I'd say this moon and the 2 weeks that follow give you that possibility. Mercury dominates the moon from your fourth house, and you may have some also new beginnings and fresh starts around art, creativity, entrepreneurship, and relationship, and your home life. As Lady Luck and Mercury are together, some lucky breaks connected to your home life as well. Regulus, the king, is here. You're on your authentic sovereign throne. What do you really want to do? Is it about getting pregnant? New moons for females listening who are egg bearers can have fertility off of this. So if you want to have a baby, yes, fine. A soulmate baby can come in. If you don't, be careful. The square to Uranus means surprise, you're pregnant. Now, with Uranus in the second house, massive radical changes in your income sources, massive, exciting, radical changes, especially with Pluto in your 10th, to do with your dietary habits and styles. Like, it's time to change it up. Something needs to change. But with the fifth house, it's pleasurable. It's enjoyable. You're liking it. Same thing when I think about, the money, the excitement, maybe something to do with your creativity. You got Mars in the work house. He's in his joy right now, traveling through your sixth house. So maybe you could get some surprising new work opportunities, but the fifth house is activated too from the moon. And you're actually like in a place where your natural talents and gifts are used. Now, this moon could be about a story that shows up within a month after, right through to the eclipse. And it could even springboard the eclipse to take it further. The eclipse of September 21st. What else can I say? That's what I've got for you. I like the energy of Uranus because he does trine Pluto in your 10th house. And with Mars activating in his joy, your sixth house, there's some shakeups in the work environment, but with a really beautiful lunation in the fifth house. The fifth house is what you're naturally good at. Like, I am naturally good at rattling off my mouth, and I'm good at writing, right? What are you naturally good at? You were born to be that way. It looks like getting a job, exciting trajectory shift, maybe in the 6 months after this, regarding work that is in alignment with your talents and gifts. Does not a stretch to do the job because it feels natural. Oh my God, guys, I know you love that I've added the oracle cards to this, but you can't make that up. Remember I said take a risk? The house of speculation and gambling is where the new beginning is. So yes, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, right? You just cannot make this stuff up, right? So I'm reading it to you. A willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. That's interesting. That's so interesting for your chart right now, because the fifth house where the gambling happens is not what I would call an intuition house, right? It's really more about your fun, your joy, your play, your pleasure. But you do have that Neptune energy in Aries, and it's activating the deep, sort of like the Akashic records of your chart, the past lives. And Neptune is often connected to intuition. And so there's a sense that maybe you can pull on South Node is there, right? Past life talents and abilities to do with intuition. So willingness to follow your intuition, even when others are doubting you. If you're in the shadow of this energy, relying on luck rather than hard work. Now, Virgo is always about hard work. Look at the picture of somebody walking with a blindfold, trusting the intuitive movement forward, right? Look at that. You can still rely on luck. 0 degrees is lucky. It's in the house of luck. Take a risk, take a gamble. Maybe it's a lucky gamble on a new job. Maybe it's a lucky gamble on a new love story. Trust your intuition. But yes, you need the hard work as well, but you won't miss the hard work because Virgo brings the hard work. If you ever met a Virgo working on an artistic or creative project, not only they are perfectionistic because Virgo, if you ever met a Taurus working on a creative artistic project, they're detail oriented, they're persistent, they're dedicated, and they work hard to perfect the creative process of their painting, of their, writing, of their acting and performing fifth house stuff. And it's interesting because you are that perfectionist and that diligent, devoted worker in the creative energies, and you're lucky right now, and your intuition wants to be activated, and the hard work will fall naturally here. You're naturally going to work hard on those types of things, including your entrepreneurial business if you have one. Moving on to the next sign. The next sign we're going to go into is Gemini, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you're Gemini, you're going to notice that the Lord of your sign, Mercury, is moving through Leo, and he's governing a new moon, a new beginning. Nope, this is not me, guys. This is Mercury playing with me, and Mercury, you're a real beast. He's on stationary, retrograde, direct turnaround, and he's still playing with me. You have Uranus in your sign, first of all. So basically, your sun is your career, your moon is your home life. So Gemini, sun, and moon. And I have a progressed Gemini sun. I'm getting this energy. But, Gemini rising, it's your body, your character, the way you think about life. And there's a lot of like Kundalini activations. There's a lot of lightning bolts. There's a lot of shock and awe. There's a lot of originality, coloring outside the lines, revolutionary, and breaking through. And this moon is hooking into that Uranian energy. So it's exciting. It's very exciting. It promises new and fresh starts, full of authentic sovereignty and power, connected to your home life, connected to where you live, to your nest. It can indeed mean new beginnings and fresh starts in destined and fated ways, to move your home to somewhere new. Will you move your home in the 30 days after the moon? Probably not. But this moon is going to get another boost from the eclipse of September, the 21st in Virgo. So you're probably looking at this moon layering in the potential of a new home to live in within approximately a year from this September, likely to emerge, right? Because the eclipse will take a year to unfold. But you might see the beginnings of change of home, a new home, especially for the Gemini rising or Gemini moon people. For the Gemini sun, is it about your career connected to your home and changes there? One thing about a new moon in the fourth house, it's fresh, it's innocent, it's lucky, it's a new beginning. This is not a hardship. This is like, yay, me, look at this new home. Surprise, exhilaration, breakthrough, and shock. I've got some new fresh start in a home, for a home, about a home, or in the things you do in the home. One thing about the fourth house is it takes you back to childhood. So you can have some breakthrough insights and new understandings about your life vis-a-vis your mom, your dad, your ancestors, your family of origin, your home, and your homeland. There's radical shifts going on. And this moon is opening up new understanding and clarity and breaking karmic patterns. And Mercury in the third house of communicating, teaching, writing, traveling, siblings with Lady Luck is extremely juicy for me. Sextiling broadly the Uranus, you might have some real breakthroughs coming through from trips, from travel, and writing, communicating, and teaching projects that are bundled into the moon, especially if you do those things in and from the home, right? I write from home, I teach from home, I communicate from home. My progressed Gemini sun feels the excitement of this energy. The fourth house is a house of the mother in my tradition of astrology. New beginnings in your relationship to your mother, and very powerful new beginnings and faded ones, but it might reveal you need to let go of the relationship, not necessarily physically, like, Mom, I'm not talking to you, but Mom, I'm letting go of the way I've related to you. It's time to start something fresh and new. And don't forget, you're still asking to choose from discernment. Is it essential? Is it worth my time? Do I feel dedicated to this direction? And is it sustainable? You won't get a new home in a Virgo setting unless the new home is sustainable. It won't be a fly by night, tent. It'll be a place that you wish to settle into. So what I'd like to do at this point is draw a card for you guys. That's basically, don't forget, you do have a North Node transit through your 10th house. You got a lot of worldly success in your career over the next year through to midsummer next year. But this moon says anchor the success in things that you release, surrender, and let go of from your childhood, from your junk in the trunk, right? I don't care what your childhood was supposedly perfect. Nobody's is. We took messages on from mom and dad that we didn't mean to adopt, right? We accidentally believed our parents. And so you can clean out your belief closet from messages you learn from mom and dad and childhood itself, because the South Node says, let it go, because you want worldly success. You're going to get it. Your North Node is in your 10th house through until next summer, July. Okay, so let's pick a card for you guys about this fourth house activation. And the card is Father. Now that is funny. The North Node is in the house of Father and the South Node is in the house of Mother, right? So interestingly, you're on the axis of mom and dad right now. Talent for creating and supporting. And by the way, in some traditions, the father is the fourth house, but not in my tradition. Father, light attributes. Okay, talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit, mom, dad, neighbor, family of origin, yes, tribal unit. Shadow attributes, dictatorial control and abuse of authority. You're not likely to abuse authority in this reading. No, not with that chart. You could be abused by authority. North Node can be a dominating, aggressive, expanding volume up in the house of father figures, authority figures. Be careful that you don't bow down to somebody's dictates under the energy of this lunation. It's teaching you not to do that. But I do like the idea of creating. Your talent is for creating and supporting life. And a new moon, new beginning in the fourth house takes you right back to those early roots of childhood. So how are you now going to make choices for creating and supporting life in your own life? Could be interesting. Could be interesting. Some of you will change your home in order to do that. Some of you will travel in order to do that. We're moving on to the next sign, and the next sign is Cancer. Sun, moon, and rising sign. So now I'm getting so far from the actual moon. Let's move us back a day. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising on the 22nd, 23rd, and new moon is setting up a shop in your third house of travel, writing, communicating, ideas, marketing and selling, social media, neighbors and neighborhood. People that are in your everyday world, your baker, your candlestick maker, the vendors in the shops you go to on the regular. This energy of your everyday life and the as my friend and teacher Adam Ellenbus says, a fishbowl in which you swim has a new beginning and a fresh start. And this is very powerful energy because Regulus is here. So it's a very on your sovereign throne of new beginnings and lucky and holy fool, beginner's mind ways. You may change your neighborhood. A lot of you may move your home to a new neighborhood, especially in whole sign houses if your IC is floating in that third house. You may want to start fresh regarding your relationship to the neighbors or neighborhood as well. Rather than moving, start fresh in the way you engage in those people and places that you go to on the daily. It is a place where you have your social media landscape, and it is possible you might start a new website, start a new social media platform, start a new writing project, especially Virgo being the sign of the writer. So if you want to do any of those things, this moon will bless that with luck. Lucky breaks in fresh starts with writing projects, social media endeavors, etc. Launching a course. If you teach skills-based teaching or you want to start a new course to learn a skill, then you're going to be lucky in that as well. The moon could be tipping you off to things that happen between now and the next Virgo moon next month, right? It's very rare to have two back to back, which is in the eclipse of September 21st. So if you see a course you want to sign up for, jump. If you want to teach, do it. If you want to write something, start the project now. It's all very auspiciously beginner's mind and extremely lucky. Now, traveling happens here. You're not usually to far off lands, but shorter distance travel. You may desire to take some short distance travel. With the South Node, it'll be karmic or to places you've been before. So if shorter distant domestic travel, for example, or within your province or state or whatever is calling you, this moon could trigger you August 23rd, at least add a month to want to take that trip. And I'd say, yes, it's beginner's mind. Holy fool, lucky things happen from shorter distance travel. Your sibling, one younger than you, belongs to this house. Major new beginnings in your relationship to the sibling, one younger than you, or in their lives as well. One thing about Mercury, he dominates because he owns it in the second house of earnings. Relationships to your earnings vis-a-vis siblings, neighborhood, travel, social media, and websites, and changes. But fresh starts and luck as well. Fortuna, Lady Luck, sitting with Mercury, says lucky breaks in your financial structures. And certainly, given that we have Pluto, certainly given that we have Neptune and Saturn in your 10th house, you are going to be working next 2 years to make major changes to the type of work you do in the world and to make that work sustainable, lasting, meaningful. So there is an early notice here that you're moving in that direction. Uranus is the unexpected and the shocking, the surprising, or the breaking free and through energy from the 12th house. If you want to break free and break through to a new location, you might move to a distant shore or far off land in the months that follow this moon. You might also find that you have some kind of breakthrough and break free at a deep soul level, like the Akashic records, your dreams at night. Soul work, breakthrough, break free as well, is where Uranus is sitting. The moon says translate that breaking through and breaking free, that spiritual liberation, that Kundalini activation to what you wish to communicate, your ideas, to your writing, to your speaking, to things you're doing in your day-to-day life. Time alone brings you breakthrough. Solitude is enlightening right now. And solitude can bring breakthroughs on how you make money and how you engage in third house activities. Oracles, diviners, and scryers, the mystics of the third house, right? The house of the goddess. Like go to the temple of, Delphi and talk to the oracle who sniffs the volcanic fumes. That's your ninth house oracle. The oracles of the bones and the scryers and the tea leaf readers belongs to your third house. Breakthroughs through it, insight derived, shocking, surprising information divulged through a reader. This is not a bad moon to engage a psychic reader or a occult reader or a scryer or diviner on to divine the will of God on your behalf. And you may already have that in place, but if you don't, those things can bring extraordinary breakthroughs for you. So again, Mercury would like to change up the money story and how you make money, and this kind of third house 12th house storyline, making money from borderless income, digital revenue, PayPal, Stripe. That's Uranian energy in the 12th house or on the internet. Okay. But you're doing the projects home alone and boom, money's coming while you sleep. That kind of vibe. Let's take a card for you and see what we get. How are you on the archetype cards of Caroline Miss? Archetype cards going to use this energy wisely. Oh my God, my finger's stuck and I pulled out a non-card. The card is Judge. All right, light attributes of Judge. Light attributes of Judge are, I can't see, okay, balancing justice and compassion. Managing the fair distribution of power, justice, compassion, and the fair distribution of power. And in the shadow, look at the scales there. That's very Libra. Offering only destructive criticism and misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So on the bright side, how are you going to balance justice, compassion, and manage the fair distribution, of power? Why did my microphone just do that? All right. So if I reflect on the sky that you're dealing with, and we talk about the scales of justice, Mars is moving through your fourth house relative to Mercury in your second, most of August in a sextile, very tight sextile through to about August 20th. So there's a sense then you've been working really very strongly with making something, trying to make something balanced regarding your fourth house of home and property and what you do in your home vis-a-vis your earnings, like finding an earnings work-life balance maybe, but also Uranus is in Gemini, the twins, Jekyll, Hyde, and it's mutable. And it's also quite often light and dark, right? The dark side and the light right side of that sign. Ella, Donald Trump's Gemini sun. So can you balance your compassion and your justice and distribution of power within your life? If I was saying this for you guys, yes, I moved next to a fire station and a hospital. I would say that you're probably looking at how to balance the distribution of your work and money and earnings with your home and your home life because of Mars's presence in your fourth house. The new moon, though, is saying new fresh beginnings. How exciting. Writing, communicating, traveling, and siblings, and good fresh starts are there for you as well. So we're going to move on to the next sign. And the next sign is the sign of, praise the Lord, pass the potatoes. We're back to transiting by day. We're going to go into Leo, sun, moon, and rising sign. New beginnings and fresh starts are here for you. And it's all about the lucky 0 degrees on the sovereign throne of Regulus, a powerful star. This is a wealth star in some ways. It brings fame and riches and money and power. And this is a money house. And so if you are a Leo, you may be coming into some authentic new expression of yourself that leads to work and earnings and money and power. And so why I like the 0 degrees is that you're not all stuck up about it. You're like, oh my God, this is an adventure. It's very much innocence. It's very much beginner's mind regarding new ways to create wealth and a sustainable financial success in your life. And this new moon is a lovely little seed, and it may unfold, between now and September 23rd, first when we have an eclipse here in the same sign, or it could also be dovetailed into the larger eclipse story, which means by the end of a year from now, by September 26th, you've got a handle on some new powerful beginning in money. South Node says, let go of a way you're already making money, earning money and letting it go. It may not be the right way for you to go. You've been maybe investing time and energy and dedication in a path that's not sustainable. I want you to think about the beginning of January of this year, the 11th, and you might have started to feel like, I need to let go of this work. This is not the work for me. I'm not making money in a way that's aligned with my true voice, my vocation, and my calling. You're also inclined under the sky to let go of dietary habits and patterns that don't work for you as well. South Node, purify your ingestion of substances through your mouth or nose. Purify, clean, and cleanse it out, and you'll be powerfully aligned in that endeavor. And don't forget, the heaven and earth Sila Nunam asteroid is here. Earth, eat things from the earth, more veggies, more growing things. Listen in, Leo, this is definitely important for you. One thing I love about this energy for you is the excitement of Uranus in the 11th house of your long-range goals and dreams, but also the profits and gains from your career. And I can say you're going to have some exciting, surprising gains in your profits, in your career, not on the moon. The moon is a seed. It can unfold over weeks and months. So you can say as far as the end of the solar eclipse energy, really, a year after, through to September 26th, look for exciting changes in career and money and prosperity. Uranus could be rags to riches from career profits for some Leos. And you might find yourself identifying new kinds of social groups and friends that are way outside the bounds. They're not your people. You've never hung with this crew before. Those people, those original, like flying their freak flag, inventive genius, mad scientists, or creative people are going to be a very good crew for you if you want to change up your social groups in the next few years. But because Uranus will be here for 7 years. Now, I would say to you, Mercury is in your sign. He's your mind. He's your ideas. He's your emails and phone calls. He's your communication. So you're in tune with Mercury. He's on Lady Luck, Fortuna, right? Look, the fates are fortunate and favoring you at this time for destined change one way or the other. The wheel of fortune is spinning in your sign. I do think you're going to have some significant changes here in how you make money, and you're directly related to the career path that you've been following. And it likely has to indicate a surrender of an old path. North Node brings you more chunky money. And if you come into money in unexpected ways, it may give you some like an inheritance or something, spousal support from separations. It may give you more of a freedom, Uranus, to pursue long goals and dreams and wishes in your life and make money in something that's way more aligned, way more aligned with what it is you really want in life, Like maybe you're going to find the freedom to find your true way to make money. This doesn't surprise me at all. This is trickster. And Mercury is a trickster in your sign right now, owning this moon in the second house of earnings and food style, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Yes, Uranus squares the moon. Forget about the ordinary way, the conventional way of earning money. Don't do the predictable, the boring, and the stuffy. I don't think you're going to manipulate others through duplicity, but be careful. And it's an interesting thing to have this trickster card with Mercury being the trickster, right? He will literally try to trip you up so that he's a little bit like Ganesh. You know, the elephant god will put an obstacle in our place so that we can find our way forward by detour. And Mercury, when he's a trickster, he just trips us up so we can get back on track. So anything that goes sideways too, you know, like you think this is what you're going to do, your email never arrives on the doorstep of the employer, you thought you were going to quit your job, you're not, like those kinds of tricky messages that you're trying to pull off right now, emails, phone calls, or whatever, may kind of backfire. Look for the trickster there as well. But understand that things that kind of slip up are slipping up for your highest good. There's nothing wrong. It's actually all right. Moving on to the next sign. Don't forget, if you're liking this kind of content where I'm bundling together oracles and astrology, please hit the like button and subscribe. It will support the channel's algorithmic growth, and therefore this channel gets more people involved, and I actually get more excited about creating content. Here we have the next sign, and that will be you, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising people. So Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. First thing to notice is that you already know the Virgo impulse to be of service, to dedicate yourself to something, to be a perfectionist about it, to ask the deeper questions. Is this essential? Is this needed? Can I sustain and devote myself to this or not? That's a question you ask about everything in life. Right now, you might be asking that about significant love relationships or this axis, or how you meet and greet and support clients and audience and public in your life. That's the axis upon which the nodes of fate are taking you. It's asking you to pay attention to the other in your life. If it's a marriage partner or live-in partner or significant other, they're growing, they're expanding in their worldly success. You're having to release and let go of what doesn't serve you, because the South Node's with you for the first time in 18 years. Against that backdrop, there's a new beginning and a fresh start. Certainly, this is positive and this is lucky. It is charmed. It is a 0 degrees leap and the net will appear. Regulus says wealth, fame, and power and glory. So, wow, and sovereignty of the seat of your sign. Virgo sun, it's about that career and purpose path. Virgo moon, it's about your home and nest, perhaps, or your mother. But Virgo rising, it's about your body. It's about your health. It's about the way others see you and the lens through which you see life. So you're purifying, refining, starting over, starting fresh, getting healthier physically as well by what you let go of. South Node, you don't have to add anything. Is it time to let go of something to be more emotionally, physically well in your life? Because Mercury is in the house of self-undoing, self-sabotage, and the way you fall away from yourself, this can often indicate places of addiction and escapism. So where you are in those hamster wheels of escape and addiction, you're ready to release, to let go and surrender. And you have Lady Luck saying with Mercury, we can do this. It will be fortunate. Funny enough, Askalaphus, the whistleblower, was also extremely drunk when he went on a RAPE-a-thon. And so if you have intoxicants that take you out of yourself and cause harm to you and others in your life, I'll tell you, Virgos, you're ready to see an exchange of energy around this. It's time to surrender. And I don't know, I think sometimes when it comes to addictions, and I wanted to say I'm not addicted to wine. I love my wine. It is for me about realizing I don't seem to have a lot of willpower around this. So I have to give it up to a higher power. So if you want to give it up to, whatever higher power you believe in, the goddess, the gods, whatever, do so. It will work this time. 0 degrees is interestingly lucky, and beginners' minds success stories happen from it. Now, what about Uranus in the 10th house? Shocking, surprising, liberating, freedom, breakthrough in the career, in the work, in the reputation space. When I look at that Uranus there, I think you're just about to totally shift the way you do the work you do or the work you do. I'm going to be, I'm working hard as a therapist. And you were like, I don't want to be a therapist. I want to be a bricklayer or something. There's just something so extraordinary going on with that. So this is the wedding house, right? Unexpected, shocking wedding proposals. This is the house of the other people seeing you as someone in a relationship with a partner. It's your reputation and social standing. And you could have some radical desires to shift the status quo, or the status quo can radically shift in those long-term committed love stories, particularly regarding the word weddings, marriage, ceremonial agreements around marriage. If you're going to make a change of work, if a job change is on the horizon, if a career path shift is coming with lightning swift excitement, Mercury says backroom deals and negotiations. It may be going on behind the scenes. Like, your employer says, human resources, me and the big boss have been talking about you. We think you're underperforming in this job because it's not using your talents. We're moving you over here. And you're like, yay, I'd always wanted to work in that division, right? So there's something like that for some of you, where, especially if you're employed, right? That's where I see that excitement. That's where I like this vibe for you. Realigning, lucky ways to realign you into more authentic expression and purpose. I kind of would say to you as well, the North Node is captivating. It is asking you to be in attentive mode around your significant long-term love relationship. I mean, if you don't have one, then it's how you serve your clients and audience and marketplace. And I drew a card for you right now, and it doesn't surprise me. That's what I love about Oracle draws. I rate in alignment with the astrology. You're having a new beginning in the house of self. And that means a new start, and it gets mirrored by the significant long-term love relationship partner. The other person mirrors your change, right? Well, I drew the companion card for you. So, light attributes of the companion. First of all, take a look at the picture. See the loving couple all snuggled up there. Is that a bouquet? That's a bouquet. This is very wedding for some of you. And when? Well, the moon is new beginnings. It can unfold over 6 months. And because it's a double whammy, even longer, it's connected to the eclipse of September. So within the next year, some of you might be doing the old ceremonial wedding stuff. But anyway, sorry, I'm shaking the card. Loyalty, tenacity, and usefulness. Well, Virgos, you are loyal. You are tenacity when it comes to commitment to love. And you are unselfishness. And if you were in the shadow, betrayal by misusing confidences and loss of personal identity. Well, take your pick. I think this bodes well. If you're not in a relationship, maybe it could portend a new one. For the North Node transiting through the 7th house often brings destined and fated new love stories. This is a humdinger of a moon, guys. I'm really loving this one. Okay, we're moving on to the next sign. And I'm going to just take a little break. I'll be right back. It is time for Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So we're going to pull them up and march onward. Hey, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising sign. I love this sky for you because it's so deep on the soul work. I think a lot of people forget about this 12th house being such a place where there's solace and solitude, where contemplation yields spiritual liberation, and where we can lean into the deepest inner knowing. It's not a place where we often go in our modern world. We're just too darn busy. So for you, a new beginning and a fresh start. Don't forget, there's also an eclipse here on September 21st. There was one in March. All these South-Node eclipses are pulling all Libras to go inward, to go within or go without, to look at all of the ways that you might be your own worst enemy as well. There's going to be addictions, sure, but also just like, hey, I don't believe in myself. I got a pattern of self-sabotage. Sometimes the 12th house is also a place where we have ancestral and past life threads that almost like need a shamanic cutting, cut the cord with love. And we don't know that we have them until something in life brings it to our attention. That we repeat a pattern we saw one of our parents do, or that we suddenly realize we're acting like a nun. Did we take a vow of poverty or chastity? Like, what did I do in another life that this is what's going on here now? Time to inspect the story. And so I kind of love that you can do that with this kind of sky, with ease, with luck, with grace, kaboom, some kind of breakthrough too, because Uranus from the house of God squaring this new moon in this house of spiritual moksha liberation indicates an incredible current of activation. It could be a kundalini activation, could be a sudden insight. It could be a deep understanding and a kaboom about, the purpose and meaning of your life. If you don't do all that, then on a mundane level, things to do with publications, book publishing, teaching and learning, academics. These are some ninth house themes and surprises that allow you to also enjoy more fresh beginnings in money. 12th house involves barter trade monies, money that you get by marketing and selling and or working for a foreign country, or marketing and selling products and services to foreign people on distant shores. In our modern world, we all do that. We're not on the spice route, doing the trade. We're not like in galleon ships crossing oceans. So we really basically say your trade routes are wide open here for excitement, exhilaration, and change. New moon, new beginning. South node, it's always asking you to release, surrender, and let go. But because both houses 9 and 12 involve travel, places you could go that are distant and foreign or far off from where you currently reside, certainly there may be surprising, beautiful, unexpected, exhilarating opportunities for travel that may emerge in the wake of the moon. The moon on the 22nd, 23rd, add at least a month until the eclipse of September 21st. See what travel things are opening up for you. And if travel does open up as an opportunity, say yes. The star Regulus, Archangel Raphael, healing comes from that travel. The energy of sovereign kingship here, and the sky god and the earth god meeting in the 12th house. Wow, what a combination. I don't know. Travel could be an incredibly positive experience for you. It could be work for professional reasons. The moon is the ruler of your 10th house. So work for professional reasons and travel for professional reasons, yes, can be extremely auspicious for you. And, will you travel? Or will you plan that travel? I don't know, but it could occur in the next, 30 days. Certainly that North Node is compelling you to seek worldly success and volume up in the work part of your life. And Jupiter, of course, is up here for the next year in your 10th house. That's where that Jupiter-Venus conjunction happened on the 12th, which gives you a blessed 10 months ahead in your career. But I love this energy of the unexpected and the surprising for that travel energy. It's exciting. I don't know what you're doing with it, or publishing, or teaching, or pilgrimages. Pilgrimages belong to the 9th house. I don't know, guys. You could even want to learn from a spiritual guide or teacher, but Uranus is outside the box. This is not your Swami in India. This is you finding somebody who's like the Gene Keys guy. He's invented a whole new system, and you're learning from that person. Those are thoughts I have about this kind of sky. I talked in the beginning about the finger of God that requires sacrifice, right? But I took out the picture because I wanted to take out the clutter. But we do have a finger of God here. Where did it go? I'm like, finger of God is because we also have Pluto here and Saturn here, and it makes the finger of God to the moon. I'm going to be doing another video on that closer to the moon, just really diving into what the finger of God is for. But in this case, look for fated, destined changes. I'm not focused on the finger of God here. I really want to focus on the simplicity of the beginner's mind and Uranus. But there is something very fated going on here. And I would just kind of take it right down to, what do you really want in life that brings you enjoyment and bliss and pleasure at an authentic level that uses your natural talents and gifts? Because that will be activated by that finger of God, and it will help you reach that right audience or be in right relationship to your clients or audience or marketplace or whoever you serve. And if any of you are not entrepreneurial, this is a kind of moon that could tickle your entrepreneurial instinct to start your own side business as well. Now, what we're going to do is draw a card to see how we can ask the Carolyn Misses archetype decks. It shows you the light and the shadow of an archetype, how this can open up for you some guidance for how to handle the weeks that follow the moon of the 23rd of August. I'd say at least till the eclipse on the next new moon in Virgo, eclipse on the 21st at 29 Virgo. Like, what a humdinger, eh? Whoa. I didn't see this one coming, but I'm going to go with it. I know why it's here. It's called the Lover. Light attributes, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. And if you're in the shadow, obsessive passion that harms others and self-destructive devotion. The reason I think this is important is because in the finger of God, you're anchoring your 5th house. That is where Pluto is. And that's not only the house of romantic love and passion. And of course, devotion comes from the Virgo energy, but it's also the connection to that natural bliss state I get joy, enthusiasm, inspiration, inspirited through my fifth house. That's what that fifth house is for. Pluto's transforming that part of the sky. That part of the sky is flowing to the Uranus. It's in a finger of God to the moon. So there's something about that subplot here for you to really look at it. Now, it can also indicate stories to do with current relationships that are romantic, right? And some turning points in those relationships. But again, it's all the inner work you're doing. It's all the stuff you're doing in the 12th house that shifts everything. You can't change another person. You can only change yourself. Mars is traveling through Libra, your sign. You may be short-tempered, irritable, ready to cut a person out of your life, whether it's a friend, whether it's a long-term love. But you need to go in and do some of that soul work first, because you have insights into yourself and your deeper patterns that you need to look at rather than focus on the other person, right? There's an expression in psychology that you're responsible for 50% of your, 100% of your 50% of the relationship. As soon as you take over more than that space, you're over functioning with that friendship, with that lover, with that romantic partner, with that client even. You're responsible for your part of the story, right? 100% of your half of a relationship. So I want you to think about if you over function here, Mars will make you irritable right now and grumpy, and you might want to cut people out of your life. But if you don't know why the deeper layers of the dynamic exists, because it's in that 12th house, you won't know why you're doing it, and you'll repeat it with someone else. So go into your soul work, look inside, do shamanic journeys, meditate, pay attention to your dreams, please. The temple of the Oracle of Delphi and all that stuff is active with Uranus. Divine insights, divine downloads about you. Then allow yourself to make choices about the love stories and the relationships in your life. A little bit of therapeutic guidance for you guys, okay? I know you don't like to, sorry, Libras don't like to, to upset the apple cart, but if you're going to upset it, know why you're doing it. All right, so here we go. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign, new beginnings, fresh starts, new moon. It's beautiful. It's on the 22nd, 23rd, time zone dependent, and it's in your 11th house of good spirit. It's where you have pennies from heaven and windfalls and long range goals and dreams and profits and gains from your career. What's not to like? And social groups and friends and allies and benefactors, people who want to help you like a big brother or big sister. So all of that is new beginnings and fresh starts. And for some of you, it could actually be a new beginning in the way you prosper in your career. With innocence, awe, beginner's mind, and luck, 0 degrees. Sovereignty, power, Regulus. And also the earth and sky gods of the Eskimos, really turbocharging some really electric currents. A possible career, profit, new beginning. So that often means a change of career or a change in the way you do the career or the change of your position within a career structure. Lady Luck is favoring you with Mercury, who owns this new beginning of the profits of your career, the gains of your career. So you have some spinning wheel of fate and luck with Mercury and Lady Luck here, turning the wheel on your behalf for you to have a destined change of career or change of money making and prosperity in the career. Like you're seeking and yearning to be worldly successful in entrepreneurial, creative, artistic endeavors, North Node in the 5th house, but you still have to let go, surrender, and release something to do with an old dream, an old bucket list, an old plan you thought you had in place for what your life looks like in your career, reputation, ambition, and accomplishments. You need to release something. The old way is no longer useful. That is an important story when I look at the square from Uranus. That is going to activate an intensity here around shock, awe, and unexpected chunks of money in a house of pennies from heaven and windfalls. Gosh, guys, why not, right? Like, let's do this thing. And I think that you're going to find this pennies from heaven windfalls activity fortified by the Venus-Jupiter conjunction in the Lakshmi 9th house, which also brings luck. You've got luck upon luck upon luck. So I like this for you. I think you're going to win something. Well, will you win it in a way you want, like a lottery ticket? Maybe, but you can also get it from spousal support, inheritances, massive tax refund, some kind of unearned chunk of money coming at you from someplace, somehow, somewhere, severance package at a job. Here's your chunk of money. Wherever this chunk of money comes from, this chunk of wealth, it's unexpected. It comes from left field. You're not looking to see it coming. It will kind of blindside you, but I think you're going to like being blindsided in this regard. Kind of want to also say that if you are at all wanting to have any kind of divine insights or downloads around your own psychological states, about your deeper self. The eighth house is your egoic identity. You might have a blinding insight. Pluto is unrevealing secrets from childhood and family secrets and ancestral secrets. And this can be the kind of moon that gives you a fresh start because you've liberated yourself unexpectedly from a secret, surprising, shocking reveal. And Mercury says, yeah, he's the sextiling the shock and reveal Uranus. So Pluto's digging up the dirt in the fourth house of the family of origin. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe between August 23rd and the 21st of September's eclipse, there isn't a massive family secret shock reveal, but it liberates you. It actually opens you up and allows for you to make a massive shift. So secrets that come through are absolutely what you need to hear. They're not a mistake. So yeah, we don't. No one wants to know that under the rug of our family system is a rotting corpse. But if there is a rotting corpse under there, you're going to want to know. Wow, there's a dead body under my family system and it's rotting. I'll tell you a good story, okay, for you. My ex-husband, bless his soul, still friends with him, had one of his family members, an older brother, take his investment monies and trash it and basically almost bankrupt my ex-husband. Like basically he let his older brother do investments for him. And I said, there's something going on here. This isn't just about your brother and you. What is this? And anyway, my husband went and had a family systems thing called family constellation work by this guy from Germany, Heller. But one of his downloads, one of his students did the constellation session with my husband. And the session revealed that there was a massive loss of family wealth hidden as a family secret back in the early turn of this last century, early 1900s. And it involved murder and family wealth and loss of wealth and property. And my husband said, no, that's not true. The constellation worker said, it's in the constellation. You've revealed this to us. And then the constellation worker said to my husband, you just wait. When this kind of stuff, secret stuff comes out in a constellation, you will know that this is true within 2 or 3 weeks or months of this event. Fast forward, within 2 months, a relative of his from Europe, because his ancestors hail from Europe, got in touch with him and said, I'm doing the family tree. You're in this downline? Do you know these people, and making sure that this was the right guy? And she said, about the family murder at the turn of the century and the loss of wealth, right? And he had no idea. And it really replayed the story because it was a brother-in-law trampling the wealth of the family. It was his brother trampling over his wealth. So the reason I'm bringing that up for you, why am I bringing that up for you? I don't even know why. Scorpios. Because the eighth house is activated. Those kinds of weird family secrets, especially with Pluto in your fourth house, are coming out whether you like it or not. This is the card I drew. I can't stand this nail, so I'll try to use my nice nails for you. Okay, none of them are really nice. All right, light attribute, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow, compulsive need to stop, to keep moving on. Okay, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Now, I'm going to tell you, this came out and stuck with vampire. We're going to give you both today because they both were stuck together. So vampire makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. We'll leave it at that. What is draining your life force? Is someone draining your life force? But when we come into this energy of this moon also, because it's got a deep reveal of family secrets, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. That makes sense to me because your bucket list is getting a massive new start, right? What do I want to create in my life? And what does success look like? What are my long range wishes and dreams for my life? That new beginning is happening at that 0 degrees of your 11th house, connected to Mercury in the house of your work. It's like you're looking, and the card is called Pioneer, to break free and break through some family system junk that keeps you from expressing your true self in your passionate career purpose directions in life. And with the North Node in the house of passion and natural talents and gifts. That's what the sky's trying to show you. That's my humble opinion. But I think there's something from under the surface of your childhood and family and ancestors that is coming through this moon. So pay attention. You probably can't miss it. Lightning bolts of shock and awe, Uranus. In the comments, let me know how it went for your sign, Scorpio. This is more true for rising, but it's still true for all Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Let's move on to the next sign. Holy man. Okay, am I going really long on this one today? My goal is to be done by 1 o'clock my time. Okay, Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. Holy moly, moly, moly. Yes, you are all fresh starts, new beginnings, and luck and beginner's mind in your career space. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have a career. I'm retired. Oh, well. What do you call success? What do you accomplish in your days that you're proud of? What do people note you doing in the visible sky that they observe you doing, saying, oh, there goes, the retired girl Sue, and she's at another crafts fair with her great crafts or golf course with her score. What is your retirement life like that people notice you're doing something and you want to be successfully acknowledged for what you're doing? That's your 10th house. In our modern world, it's a career house. Most of us are seen doing our career. So in your career space, there's a fresh start, new beginning. And it is with Regulus and Archangel Raphael for healing and new beginnings and lucky breaks and fresh starts. And it also is connected to South Node. So what do you need to let go of in your career, in your reputation space that's not serving you? Because you can only get what you need by letting go of what you don't have to keep or need, or what the sky does not want you to hold on to. Surrender, release. Sometimes it's our wedding house. It's can we get married in the high noon of the chart, and people acknowledge us as a married unit or wedded unit in the 10th house, right? Big public ceremonies are 10th house things where everyone watches you do the thing, the bat mitzvah, the bar mitzvah, the funeral, even, honestly, the wedding. So if you are going to have a South Node here and you're going to have a change as well, it's destined, it's a change of one of those stories. And like, you could be looking at surrendering and releasing a marriage or a relationship, right? A committed maritable relationship, because Uranus, shock and awe, surprise, unexpected, blindsiding, liberating, freedom in the house of marriage. Is exciting, is scary, and it's there for you to consider. New beginnings are full of luck because 0 is a beginner's mind. Fresh starts are full of enchantment. That was easy. It should not feel hard, but the surprise is coming from the house of someone else. It could be your partner saying, I'm out of here, and you're surprised, but maybe relieved. Now, I do want to say that the 7th house isn't just marriage partners. It can be a business partnership. It could be a significant other person in your life. Okay. But it's a relational house, and there's a shock and awe, and your reputation will change because of it, right? People acknowledge, oh, yeah, you're no longer married to that person, or something like you're no longer in business with that person. With the energy of Mercury owning the story of Uranus and the moon, he's in the 9th house of God. And this is a very lucky house in general. And this house is also very much about dharma and meaning. And Lady Luck is spinning her wheel up there. What's the meaning of your life? Do you need to let go of something to reclaim a deeper meaning in life? We can travel up here. We can go on pilgrimages. We can go to far off shores. We can find a guru. Lady Luck is surprising you with those possibilities. But you could also have a shocking, surprising change in your legal status. Courts and judges are up here. Again, you're going to uncouple from someone. You have to get the legal uncoupling as well for some of you. And Mercury said, fortunate, Lady Luck, wheels are spinning. It's meant to be. Things will go well. Hey, that North Node was eternally beckoning you to expand and grow your home, to move your home, maybe to move your home to another land or shore, a foreign place, but there's a call maybe to relocate a home in some way. And you might be feeling this moon is triggering some of that, because it does indeed talk to, Uranus for some shocking changes in your significant love life, relationship life, business life, that could also lead to a change of home in the course of the unfoldment of this moon, maybe in the next 1 month through to the eclipse on the 21st of September in Virgo. And one more thing to say about this. This is a house of the father, the 10th house. The sun is the father, and there's South Node for letting go, as well as there's a shocking and surprising, unexpected Uranus. And maybe for some of you, there may be, because of Jupiter and Venus in your 8th house, which is inheritance money, there may be an indication that this moon could tip you into a story of the end of the life of a father or father figure from your family of origin, but that also seems to be about increasing your financial wealth as well. Just for some of you, understand this will not be for all of you by any means. Venus and Jupiter also rule other parts in your chart, and you can get money from a sibling one older than you as another example. So it doesn't just have to be father figures. Okay, moving on to your card, and we're going to say how to navigate the 10th house moon and new beginnings, that this is going to indicate probably most active through August 23rd to about the eclipse of the 21st of September. But the eclipse will start a new story in Virgo. So this kind of has a short shelf life, I think. All right, let's see what we get for you. Hang on. Oh my God. The queen, as my Italian friend would say. Light attributes, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. Shadow attributes are, becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. Authority is the 10th house, right? Father figures and authority figures. Radiates the regal feminine and uses her benevolent authority to protect others. Well, it looks to me like in hindsight, thinking about it, the sun and the moon, King Sol and Queen Luna, the feminine and masculine, with Raphael and Regulus on his sovereign throne, right? The king is there, is asking to step into a feminine type of power, because we have masculine and feminine sides within us. No matter what our sex is, we are literally able to own either one of those. This is moon energy. It's new beginnings with the moon. And so how can you move into a softer, more feminine approach to how you wield authority in your career, in your visible reputation in the world? That could be one angle for that. Another thing I'm thinking about is Venus herself, who's, has been hooked up in, recent memory with Jupiter on the 12th of August in that chunky money house. And the moon is the ruler of that spot, right? The moon rules Cancer, where they chunked up together. I think it's going to bring you money by being more in tune with this divine feminine queen than the king within you. Regal feminine uses her benevolent authority, right? Not dictatorial and tyrannical authority. This is a part of a finger of God, and it does activate the house of children and enthusiasm and love and romance, as well as it activates your third house. So we're going to do the finger of God on a second video closer to the moon, because I can't cover all of it in one. It'll take me forever, because the finger of God is a mission from Gad. So we'll be doing that on a separate video. We're talking about Uranus and the moon on this video. Moving on. We're going to talk to you now about the sign of Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. All right, so Capricorn, sturdy and reliable that you are, there is a very beautiful earth trine from your 9th house new moon to you. I mean, in that regard, no matter what else we say about this, you like this lunation, right? And you add to the earth trine, which fortifies luck, opportunity, and expansion and growth and goodness to you directly, to your Capricorn sun, your career, moon, your home life, or Capricorn rising, any part of your life that you want blessings and luck. This Lakshmi luck house, new moon, new beginning, tells us that you also have a throne here, right? Regulus, the king star, is right here on this moon, and your sovereignty is here, and your power is here, and potentially your wealth and fame are here. And so lots going on in that 9th house for you Capricorns. It is a house of many things: spiritual teachers, religion, spiritual faith and belief, publishing, book publishing, universities, colleges, and higher learning centers, courts and judges, foreign travels and lands, passports and visas, the house of the third marriage. There's so many things that could be: fresh starting, new beginnings, blessed luck, 0 degrees beginning for you here. The other element of this is letting go. You have a south node. Something has to be surrendered. Something has to be released. You can't get what you want with an open fit hand when your fist is grasping something. You need to release something in order to get what is right and true and lucky and fresh and new. So you might have to release something: the third marriage, the academic achievement ambition, the travel plan, the passport visa situation. Give up the ghost on a court case because you're fighting too hard and it's not worth it. So whatever you're letting go of opens up fresh, new, lucky beginnings. Okay. And there can be some wealth and prosperity with Regulus here as well. This is a house of grandchildren, and it is possible that this could indicate there's going to be a grandchild coming into your life from this lunation. This has a short shelf life in my view. It's kind of like August 23rd to September 21st, because then an eclipse will happen in Virgo and take over a new story. But it could be all bundled into. So anywhere between a month after this moon or even up to a year later, there may be a very destined, fated soulmate grandchild entering your life. Okay. One other part about this story is meaning and purpose. Like, where are you with your life? Do you feel that the dharmic alignment of your gifts and talents with your purpose and true north meaning? Because this is going to give you a fresh start and a lucky new beginning to find that true north and magnetize yourself to it. Shock, awe, surprise. Yeah, in the workhouse. Well, there could be work opportunities from abroad, foreign lands, foreign people, and foreign shores. There could be a surprising and exciting and exhilarating breaking free and through debts that you owe, especially if money is owed to someone else in a spousal separation or divorce settlement. This is where things are going to be surprisingly free and maybe liberating. And you could unbind and undo them, or you can find them going into that was easy mode for you. You might find yourself also wanting to get a pet from another country, a chihuahua, out of the blue because of this combination. Because Mercury rules the whole story, and he's in your 8th house of chunky money and shared assets with another, and Lady Luck is spinning on top of him. There's a lot of fated destined change in the shared monies with a spouse or significant other. Now, Lady Luck can be the wheel of fortune spinning for some chunks of money. And because Jupiter and Venus, don't have them here, but they're here in the 7th house, starting on the 12th of the month, and they open up this story, right, of OMG-ness around how you might end up getting a huge, chunk of money coming through a significant long-term love partner. Right. So maybe they get some money and they share it with you, something like that. Or a very rich person comes in and helps, you with your finances, or a sibling 3 older than you, or 4 older than you, both of those in birth order, is a part of you receiving some unexpected financial abundance in a non-earnings way. And this moon could bring it for you as well. And there's Uranus is like a surprise a pet, surprise a grandchild, surprise a new job opportunity. So there's surprises here. They look positive to me. I don't think you should be worried about it, but any job opportunity that does come will have you traveling. You might have to change your location or your neighborhood or travel in order to receive this surprise in the work story. And again, will it be August 23rd to September 21st? Possibly. Or will it happen closer to the moon? Possibly. Or will it also unfold over the duration of the eclipse cycle that will last till September of 26? I shall watch the sky to figure that out for us as time goes on. Now I'm going to draw a card that's going to talk about how you are going to use this storyline, what it's for. Now, I didn't do the finger of God, okay, because that's for my next reading. I just want you to know. But I will share, but so there'll be a card draw in a different deck for a later video closer to the moon, where I draw our attention to singularly to the finger of God. But I laughed when I pulled Messiah, because Messiah, Mashiach, Messiah, saviors, martyrs, all of that, gurus belong to the 9th house and the 12th house, right? So we have serving humanity with humility, and in the shadow, exaggerated belief you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. New beginnings in the 9th house, right? And you want to serve humanity with humility. Do that by being on purpose. The 9th house is purpose. It also is your gurus and teachers and your don't drink the Kool-Aids and all of that. But it is indeed the house that you need to pay attention to if you want to serve humanity. Because by being in alignment and on purpose and finding your true calling and meaning of life, you can be that Messiah for the world. And if you're not on purpose, you're not doing that, this moon will help show you the direction to go with some surprises as well. We're moving on to the next sign, which is me. I'm an Aquarius rising. This is for sun and moon and rising. We have Pluto in our 1st house. I simplified the chart. Trust me, Pluto is in our 1st house. If you haven't felt it yet, breathing down your neck like Darth Vader, I'd be surprised. So we have this story over here. It's our 8th house of chunky money. It would be a new beginning and a fresh start in receiving a chunk of money. Possibly that will happen in a fated, destined way. Some people can say from past lives or connected to spiritual surrender, along comes some money. The last time an eclipse cycle went through here like this, I did come into possession of a huge amount of money, all at once. So that was back in 2007 and 2008. So 2006, 7, 8, around there. And so you might be looking at this as a very auspicious energy because the 0 degrees on Regulus, fame, riches, glory, sovereign throne of the king, little king Regulus, the healing angel is here as well. Beautiful Raphael on the lover's card. How are you going to start afresh and anew on money like a beginner's mind? It comes in a large chunk that's not earned. Now, you don't need to worry about earning money. Guys, you're going to earn money. You're busy as all heck with the North Node expanding the money, possessions, resources, and earnings. Some of it's earnings. Sometimes the second house is just money you can put in your bank account and your savings. You possess it, right? But that's expanding, but this is also expanding or changing. So there's a new money story trying to emerge here off this new beginning, fresh start, new moon with a lot of luck, a lot of beginner's mind, a lot of innocence as well. And you'll notice that it is also in a square to shock and awe, surprise and unexpected. Uranus in the house of good fortune. This is a house of gambling, speculation. It has to do with winning money. So if you're going to win money, it's coming off this moon of August 23rd and likely by September 21st when the eclipse in Virgo happens. You may see evidence of some financial win, maybe a windfall if you like, but win. And partly as well, because Mercury rules this and Lady Luck and the spinning wheel of fortune is beside Mercury, this money may be connected to a client, a public audience member, a business partnership, or a long-term committed love story. And maybe your partner will win some money and share it with you. So we'll see what that looks like. Either you could win it or they could win it because other people are invested in this money story. The monies of the 8th come from the 7th, right? The gains of the 7th. So it's possible that your partner is going to hit the jackpot. And if you have a romantic partner or a business partner or a significantly wealthy client and bequeath or donate or give or pass on some of the money to you. Well, this is happening on a financial level. It also opens up deep soul work because your sense of identity formed in our lifetime. So, how you cobble together an egoic sense of self belongs to the 8th house, and liberation from that egoic sense of self, especially liberation with pineal gland, shock and awe, third eye, Uranus, can come in a lightning flash. But it's also involving Uranus in the house of children and creativity and art and romance. So where this lightning flash comes from may not be of your own agency. You might have a massive shift of enlightenment wave because of something a romantic partner, a child says to you or connects with you, or there's an event with those people and it turns your world upside down and inside out. Mercury rules the 5th house of children, and he's in the Lady Luck and the spinner of fortune. And in the sun rules your second child, and the Mercury rules your firstborn, and they're all embedded. So it's very likely that potentially circumstances involving your children, if you have children, could radically shift your perspective of yourself. Or your children could come into money and pass money on to you. So those are some themes I've got going in that sky. And I am an artistic creative type. I'm a writer, I'm a painter. If you have any natural talents that are creative or artistic, or there's talents you were born to express, your original medicine for the world, you're here to give it to the world, to express your talents and gifts. That's where Uranus is shaking things up. Like, wait till next year. He's full on there for 7 years. So you're really going to open up that can of worms. And right now he's in that house. So if there's anything creative, artistic, or entrepreneurial that is going to be expressed under this sky, it's going to bring you a lot of money. So be open to fresh and new and exciting ideas about creative and entrepreneurial expression that could bring you a significant degree of financial success in the weeks or months that follow the fresh start moon. Now we're going to draw a card from Carolyn Miss's archetype card book. And I've got, she's the old guard, isn't she, guys? She's been around for like a dog's age. I hope that mic is still plugged in. It looks like it. Okay. I was moving things around, right? And as I did that, I kind of lost oh my God. Okay, I'm going to draw 2 cards first because of what I got. And it does make sense what I got. Okay. We get 2 today. This is the bully card. And I'm laughing. We have Pluto in Aquarius, and we can be a tyrannical dominator right now. I almost had a conversation at dinner last night, and the war in Ukraine came up, and the guy who was from Switzerland was sitting at the dinner. And I'm autistic, so I go geeky and I give facts and dates and details of the Minsk Accord and the provocation with Ukraine becoming NATO. And it wasn't just one-sided. And there was a peace treaty that was formed within 2 weeks, and Putin said, "I'll stand down. Let's call it a day. Just don't join Ukraine." And then Boris Johnson and other people from the US ran in and said, "No, fight. We'll fight the good fight." Like, I know the history of the war and how it started. I'm not justifying Putin at all. I'm just telling you. And I almost went full on bully, to correct this guy. And I pulled back from my autistic down spiral and said, "No, it's not dinner table conversation." Light attributes, bully, highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. And in the shadow, it conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Now, I wasn't verbally abusive, but because you guys, okay, we have Aquarius sun and rising, especially, maybe moon too. We have a Pluto energy moving through us, and it doesn't suffer fools gladly. It really doesn't. And its shadow is the dictatorial, tyrannical, and controlling power. And its authentic expression is transformation, power that transforms. It's Kali burning. It's Kali with the heads on her necklace, and it's a forest fire that burns the forest and creates new growth, and blueberries sprout. So, there's two ways, creation can be destructive, and destruction can be creative. So we have to work with the bully within us right now. But the other card I drew for us for this moon is the beginner's mind, new moon, fresh start energy. Right, is this in our chunky money house. Passion for a journey of personal empowerment, hero's journey, or shadow, escapism, and a false sense of heroism. So my escapism is my daily martini or glass of wine. What's yours? Buddha won't let us keep doing that. Now, the hero's journey is an important card, and it's really calling to us. But I would say this, the new moon is allowing for the dissolution of our egoic identity so that we can step into a hero's path uncompromised by our own shadow. The identity we form of sense of self is coming from the family of origin in this kind of a sky, and to some extent past lives for you and me. And this is really uncoupling us from those identities that we've adopted that are not intrinsically true and real for the soul that we are. Mars is moving through Libra right now. That can make you very, very aggressive, as well as Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. So we Aquarians must not be mean to our trolls. I've stopped trolling my trolls now. Sometimes I mention them, but I'm no longer trolling the trolls. All right, that's what I got for you. We're moving on to the last sign, and that's Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. You guys are amazingly positively impacted by so much sky right now. If you don't feel a breath of fresh air, I don't know what else to say. So you got a lot going on for you, especially that Jupiter-Venus conjunction in Cancer, not seen since 1942. That happened on August 12th. And that is a story that you really want to watch my video for, because it's a game changer for you. So let's go to the main story. This is a new moon. This is a new beginning. And this is a fresh start. Are you ready? This is going to be in the house of long-term committed love and relationship. Now, beginner's mind is here. Fresh starts are here. Innocence is here. Leaping in the net will appear. An existing relationship can start all over again. A fresh start, a reset. An old relationship that's tired, outworn, and it's time to release it can come to a close as well. Thank you to the South Node here. But it can be a deepening of the spiritual connection in your relationship and a fresh new start with innocence, joy, and wonder, or a longer-term relationship is getting ready, maybe to complete. The eclipse at 29 Virgo on September 21st can suggest that as well. Your seventh house of significant others can include your audience, client, and marketplace, and people who come into your life. And so there's a lot of fresh new beginnings here as well. Maybe you're going to start a new way of approaching business, love, relationship, connection to clients, audience, and business partners as well. And Regulus, power, wealth, and all of that. You're going to sit on the sovereign throne in those relationships, or your partners are going to be wealthy. Little kings and little queens, and the ones you choose to be with. And that's what I've got there. The shock and awe comes from the fourth house, changing your home. I don't know. It looks like some of you are going to move your home. It may connect to a business contract, legal agreement, and work opportunity. Mercury with Lady Luck in the workhouse dominates the sky, telling Uranus what to do, and also what he's telling the moon what to do as well. You could come into an incredible, exciting opportunity in work. It could mean changing your home or homeland. You could find yourself dating someone new. Dating belongs to the sixth house because it precedes commitment. And there may be some lady luck and fortune in the dating life of single Pisces. Mercury, who dominates with lady luck, also could indicate massive changes in your debt structures where you can eliminate a debt very quickly. Mars in the eighth house says the same thing right now. So over the next few weeks, you could, after this moon, be in debt elimination mode, cutting out debt and indebtedness for good. Let's put Mars in. He might have slipped into Scorpio by the time the moon is exact. Let's take a look where he's traveling. No, he's still in Libra. Yeah, till September. Yeah, 23rd. What am I thinking? Of course. And I do want to tell you that I kind of would like you with this kind of sky to think about things in terms of karmic debt. Because while you have real life debt where Mercury sits and Lady Luck can help you eliminate or work with debt situations financially in fortunate ways, it's also karmic debts. And what a karmic debt means is that sometimes we have a relationship in our life, a friendship, something, a time, a season, and a reason, right? Time, season, and reason, and it's done. This is the kind of thing that could be one of those moments where the clarity is there. It's time to complete or end some significant relationship because it's time to end it. One other indication of this is the shock and awe of Uranus. It's a little bit like a sudden turning point. You weren't expecting a pivot, like the wheel of fortune is turning your relationship inside up and upside down. Well, the only other thing I want to say about this story for you is pets. You know, you can get a pet. Mercury, lucky lady luck, buying commerce, shock and awe, an unexpected pet. But again, a rental opportunity as well. Mercury would be to lease a property or to lease out your home. And those opportunities for leasing a home as a tenant or a landlord or pet situations may come in unexpected and exciting ways that are also fortunate as well. Okay. And when you're not dealing up relationship stuff, then you're dealing up stuff to do with those things as well. If you were like, we're going to get a pet and you had to sign a document with, you know, the pet place, you know, like this, what do you call it, SPSCA or whatever they call them, you know, where they house the pets that nobody takes. That would be like literally a contractual agreement regarding getting a pet for your home. It's so simple, right? It's just like, yeah, that would be an idea of that as well. I'm going to draw a card for you as well and pull it from the Oracle deck of Carolyn, Miss, and the archetypes. Let's see what we get for you. And the card for you Pisces people is, drum roll please, and we're going to be talking about the energy of it and how you can work with this energy, right? So that you're in a kind of better condition regarding it. And one other thing I want to say about the sixth house, it's your health. I forgot to mention that. So health matters are something you should pay attention to. But the sextile to Uranus would indicate probably like an insight or a breakthrough insight around your health rather than an actual problem with your health, just so you know. Yeah. So I got the Virgin. Virgo is the Virgin. Okay. Virgo is your seventh house of marriage. Do you think, Pisces, that you pick virgins in life? You probably do. You're looking for the pure soul, the devoted soul, the dedicated soul, the magical soul. Okay. This is the Virgin, light attribute, maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit, shadow, fear of intimate union. Are you afraid of intimate union with your beloved? If so, why? Okay. Are you a virgin or is your partner a virgin? So Virgo, the Virgin, new moon, new beginnings, fresh starts, innocence, wonder, and awe. And I did tell you that this is a part of a finger of God, but I will not be covering that until next video for the simple reason I can't cover everything in one video. But the video I'll put out just around the time of the moon that wakes up the sort of the destiny finger of God energy is also something that is important as well. So we'll get that in another video. It'll activate past lives for you and things to do with money and earnings as well. I kind of would say to you, your relationship wants a brand new start. Is it a start that means it's ending, a fresh start for you to open up doors of love and connection with another? Because one thing must close so another comes in? Or is it really a fresh beginning? So Jupiter and Venus to join together on Sirius in your fifth house of sexual and romantic love. So old relationships can be restored and rejuvenated. I mean, I'm not old relationships, but long enduring relationships can be restarted here in a really wondrous way, like the innocence of the fool in the tarot. So keep that in mind. But if it's a brand new relationship already starting, it just juices it up some more. Okay. Oh, it's hot in here. Okay. Thanks for listening, Sun, Moon, and Rising Sign, everybody. I have outros to almost all of my videos these days. So I talk about something that has captured my attention. I'm going to share something with you right now. I just wanted to share a little bit about an astrology tool and explain to you why, when we're looking at relationships in a chart, because we ended with, Pisces getting the relationship story going, we often get stuck on saying the seventh house is your marriage house. And the ruler of the seventh house, say for Pisces, is Mercury, right? The Virgo seventh house is the partner you're with. And that's not really true. There's multiple ways to find the partner you're with in the chart. You can use your Dara Karaka, your lowest degree planet. You can use the ruler of the seventh. And there's another technique called from Gemini School of Indian Astrology. And that's the most accurate one I've used. I've used it with clients now for over 5 years. I'm always blown away that it translates into the Western tropical zodiac without even having to adjust to the sidereal. And if you use both techniques, it works as well because they just have different layers of explanation. But I'm going to share with you why I love that technique. And it's going to be a funny story, and I hope you enjoy it. So I teach that tool in a course called Finding the People in Your Chart. I don't think I've made that course public for resale yet. If I haven't, I might teach it one more time and then sell it out again because I love teaching and I always add more tools and also more people you can find, like your spouse, your uncle, everybody. You can find everybody in your chart, your children, and all of that. So I'm not going to explain the technique here, but it's connected to the moon. And you use the moon as the anchor in your chart for finding the spouse. And you can go up to 100 spouses. I mean, first spouse, second house, third spouse, first spouse, second spouse, third spouse, fourth spouse. A spouse would mean long-term committed love story person. And what I love about that technique is it's so blisteringly accurate. And I'm going to share a funny story, so hang in there. With my clients, I have to ask a lot of personal questions like, well, did you live together? How long? Did he feel like she feel like a spouse to you? Did you get pregnant or have a baby or legally wed them? Then I count them as like a spouse. But it's a tricky technique because you could be with someone for 5 or 6 years, never live together, never get married, never have children, and that person will be a significant other. So we have 7 traditional planets, and that means sun and moon, and then Mercury through to Saturn. And each of these planets can be the actual planet that represents one of your spouses. And each of these planets has 2 houses it rules, although the sun and moon only rule 1, right? Cancer and Leo. So you can find up to 12 places that the spouse is coming from. 12 houses are places, right? The 4th house of your homeland, the 3rd house of the neighborhood, the 10th house of career. And I'll say to a client, well, did you meet your spouse in your career path, in your work spot? Did you meet your spouse in the neighborhood? And they go, oh my God, how did you know? Because I can see where the spouse is coming from, which house it belongs to. Did you meet your spouse in higher educational setting? Oh my God, yes. How did you know? Because that spouse came out of the 9th house. So I can tell the sign that is relevant to the spouse and therefore the whole sign house. But I can also say what planet the spouse is. So Mercury, like for example, a spouse whose Saturn will have an age difference, usually of at least 5 or 6 or 7 years, higher or lower than you. The moon planet will be a spouse who reminds you of your mom, good and bad, and you're working your mother stuff out with. The sun as a spouse will be your daddy issues and remind you of the good and bad of your dad, and you'll work your daddy issues out with that person, right? The Mercury will be a friend, a companion, a jokester, a trickster, and someone who you laugh with and have fun, but it'll feel like a best friend and a buddy. And When Venus is the spouse, it'll be someone you think is attractive and that you enjoy sensuality and pleasure together with, just categories of the meaning of the planet. Forget about the house the planet is in. And when Mars is the spouse, you might have a lot of athletic engagement together and do fun things and be a team and like comrades in arms on the battlefields of life. So the qualities of Mars predominate how you relate to that person. If Jupiter is a spouse, they may be generous, magnanimous. They may be kingly or queenly in some very powerful way. And you might be fruitful and prosper and have children with that person, because Jupiter's one of his meanings is he's the planet for children. And oh, did I forget a planet? Did I forget anybody? Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter. Yeah, I covered them. So that's fun. So you guys got to take this class with me sometime, but that's not what I want to say. I got a funny story for you. So this is what happened to me. I was doing that technique on myself, and I got together with this guy that I'm dating now for 2.5 years, right? He's kind of United States. He's in and out of my house. He lives here. I go to visit him. Well, when I was doing the technique, I didn't count one of my former partners. I thought, well, I don't know, it was only 2 years. We didn't live together, but it was a very serious relationship for me. And I spent a lot of time and attention on that relationship. So I had to recalibrate my planetary alignment. So I thought my partner that I met, and it was been with us 2 years now, I thought he was Jupiter in my chart. It didn't make any sense, because where Jupiter sits in my chart is the second house of money. Jupiter is in Pisces, which is fine because that makes it very magical. But there's a lot of ways that my partner being Jupiter in my second house didn't really fit for us at all. And I had me being Jupiter in his chart because we didn't account for one of his longer relationships. And when we recalibrated it, it was so funny. We're on a car trip a couple months ago. We're talking about astrology. And this is going to make you laugh. In this relationship for 2 years, he always says, stop being my mother. Stop being my mother. You're not my mother. And I don't say that. I said, I'm not your mother. I'm your older sister, because I am the oldest sister in my family, right? And he's a youngest child in his family. So I'm not acting like your mother. I'm acting like your older sister. And he goes, you're acting like my mother. Anyway, I said, you're acting like and I said, I'm not your older sister. I'm your older sister, not your mother. And I always say, or, you remind me of the boy next door that I grew up with. I was best friends. My best friend was the boy next door growing up. Okay. Turns out he's Mercury, the companionable, friendly relationship in my third house of, high school and, elementary school, but in my third house of siblings, especially the sibling younger. So he is Mercury, the bestie, the friend in the house of the neighborhood. The boy, a childhood friend, was a neighborhood friend next door. And my partner, James, is Mercury, the buddy, the friend, the jokester. He makes me laugh. He's wickedly funny. And we're like best friends. And I always say, yeah, you're like my younger brother. And he is in the chart like my younger sibling. Then I am his mother. The moon in his chart is me. I am the moon. I am his moon. The moon sits in his chart in the second house in Aries with Jupiter, etc. And I'm not going to go into explaining that to you, but from his perspective, given that this partnership is me, the moon in his chart, he's been working his mother stuff out with me. And we recognize that. And I seem to play the role of his mother without meaning to, from his vantage point, by being bossy or telling him what to do, but that's the older sibling in me. And that also relates to the chart where he is the younger Mercury, the companion. Now, if you're with a Mercury person in the chart, the person is going to be the same age as you usually, and we're only a year apart. You're going to be in a companionable relationship with someone of your own age, okay? Often Mercury relationships don't last because it becomes more friendship than anything. It doesn't have the zippity-doo-dah of like massive romance, right? So just letting you know. All right, so I think I'm going to teach that course again, finding the people in your chart. I'm 90% sure I haven't resold it, and I love that class, and I think I might put it out, teaching it at the end of August. And so if you want to join me, I'll put the class in the description box below. I'm going to add some new techniques to it to expand the class I've already created. If you want to jump about finding the people in your chart, I'll help you find all the folks you want to know. Your parents, we'll help you find your spouse, we'll help you find your aunts and uncles and stuff. So your in-laws, so come join me for that class at the end of August. If you're a part of my Patreon community at the balsamic tier, you get that class for free. It's my monthly free class. Replay is available and all of that. Come join me in Sky Reader. I'd love to see you there as well. Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I have a feeling this is more than a 2-hour video. I enjoy doing the cards with the astrology. If you like this kind of stuff, please share, please like and comment. Thank you. I'll see you on the next video soon. That'll be coming out on Sunday. That will be the eclipse video. Ciao, ciao.